Welcome.
Welcome.
Tell us where you're joining us from today. Put it in the chat. What's the weather like? Welcome, everyone. Ooh, California. Yeah. It's windy here. It's windy, and we have Dr. Wendy. That's amazing. Fabulous. Okay, everyone, we are going to get started because we have a lot to chat about today. So, welcome, everyone. I just want to remind you again that the chat is open. So make sure that you select everyone in the drop-down box when using the chat. So welcome to today's webinar, Unveiling the New Me, Reintroduction After Breast Cancer. I'm Megan Claire Chase, and I am Share's Breast Cancer Program Director and host of our BC Life podcast. Plus, I'm an invasive lobular breast cancer survivor. Now, before our, presentation today, I'm going to say before our fabulous conversation begins, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Share. We're a national nonprofit that supports, educates, and empowers anyone diagnosed with breast or gynecologic cancers and provides outreach to the general public about signs and symptoms because no one should have to face breast, ovarian, uterine, cervical, or metastatic breast cancer alone. For more information about upcoming webinars, support groups, podcasts, and our helplines, please visit our website at sharecancersupport.org. Now, we do have a few housekeeping reminders for you. So all participants will be muted for this conversation. But again, the chat is enabled, so feel free to write comments and engage with each other. And again, make sure that you select everyone in that little drop-down box in the chat. And once Dr. Mayo, she's going to be asking questions and asking for participation throughout. So that's how we'll kind of weave in the Q&A as well. But remember, she cannot give specific medical advice, so please keep your questions general. And let's see. Oh, we also have closed captioning available, and you can enable this feature by clicking the live transcript button at the bottom of the screen and selecting the subtitle option. And lastly, this webinar is being recorded. In a few weeks, we'll share the recording with all registrants and add it to our website. So now I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Wendy Garvin Mayo to introduce herself. Dr. Wendy, the screen is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with us today. My name is Dr. Wendy Garvin Mayo. I am a doctorate prepared nurse practitioner. I spent over 20 years in healthcare. The majority of my career, I've been in oncology, caring for cancer patients and their family members. Right now, I am the founder and CEO of Collaborative Cancer Care. We are a mental health practice, and we provide counseling and therapy and medication management, advocacy, and education for cancer patients and their families. And that practice was really built out of my experience being in the clinic and really seeing the gap in, cancer treatments. We're really good at treating the cancer, but not so good at treating what I call the soul of the patient, which is their mental and emotional state during that process. So we created a space for patients and their family members. And I am really excited to be here with you. I coined myself as an oncology mental health advocate because that's what I advocate for, because everything starts in the mind. Everything starts in the mind. And as we kind of go through our presentation today, you'll kind of see more of that, how we kind of demonstrate that. And I'm excited to be here with you and share this space with you. And this will be really a discussion. So it's not going to be slides. I really want you to lean into the topic, take little nuggets. If I say something that resonates with you, I want you to put boom in the chat, BOOM, or give me a boom emoji. Give me something like that. And before we get started, I want you to make sure you have a pen, a pad, a book. You have something to write with. My goal for our presentation and our time together is that you leave here with something that you can implement in your life, or that you can bring and help someone else implement in their life, right? Because you are giving me one of your most valuable assets, which is your time. So with that, let's get started with unveiling the new me, reintroduction after breast cancer. And reintroduction is something that is very interesting at this time of year. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. As we enter the new year, everyone wants to unveil, reintroduce, reorganize, show up differently. And I would love to ask you, what's your New Year's resolution? What's your New Year's word? What's your New Year's phrase? What do you believe you're going to do differently this new year? I know for me, it's more stepping into my spiritual wellness, really expanding that. And the way I'm doing that is I am attending a 6 a.m. prayer call on a daily basis. So I am leaning all the way into that this year. And it's really just expanding my spiritual well being.
Uh,
Okay. What is your New Year's word, resolution, intention, phrase? New Year word and behavior is change.
ooh,
Yes, that's a good one. To be present for myself and to draw closer to my faith. I love that. Wellness. Yes. Yes. All that is very, very, very good. Awesome. Day one of my new after can. Yes. Yes.
hi, Joan.
Congratulations, Joan. Absolutely love it. Love it. Inner peace, self-care, focusing on 5 minutes of breathing, journaling. Yeah, so that is good. That is good. That is good. And we're celebrating Joan. Thank you so much for sharing that. As we talk about unveiling the new us, and the reason I asked you about your New Year's resolution is because we're saying New Year resolution, New Year intention, New Year phrase. How about new month phrase, new day phrase, new hour phrase, new hour intention? I want to even bring it down to the moment. Because as we unveil the new us, as we reintroduce ourselves, that can be done anytime. And I like to call that the pivot. That's when we create space for ourselves to pivot. The new year comes and our whole mindset shifts. And one thing, if you don't leave here with anything else, is that you can shift, you can reintroduce, you can unveil at any time. We don't have to wait to the first of the month, the first of the year. We create the time for ourselves to reintroduce or unveil ourselves to the world. And I want to talk about that in terms of self leadership. Self leadership is really the foundation of us taking charge of our lives. It's us laying out the life we want and leaning all the way into it. It's leading ourselves. Sometimes, after we've been through trauma or an experience, we lose that ability to have a vision for ourselves. We lose it. But self leadership helps you get back that vision. What do you want for your life? How do you want to transform your life? How do you want to experience your life as a survivor after breast cancer? Sometimes we don't take the time to do that. So we need clarity in our priorities and our values. We want to create the vision for wellness, for being more mindful. What does that look like? We want to cultivate habits that really honor ourselves, honor our minds, honor our spirit. So, we're going to talk about vision a little more. But one way to really unpack self leadership is through emotional intelligence. It's really through emotional intelligence. How many of you have heard of emotional intelligence? Let me know in the chat. Put a yes, no, emotional intelligence. Yes, 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 yes. Emotional intelligence is a skill. It is a skill of really understanding your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors and how they impact your life. But on the flip side of that, it's being aware of others' emotions, thoughts, and behaviors and how it's able to, cultivate relationships, able to coexist. So there are really four pillars for emotional intelligence. When we talk about self-leadership, the first pillar is really key. It's that self-awareness, acknowledging your emotions, accepting yourself, accepting all the things you've been through as part of your healing. Self awareness. Are you self aware of your emotions, your thoughts, your behaviors? Or are you in this cycle of just confusion, indecision? We call that the chronic stress cycle. We want to get out that cycle and just really sit. And are we aware? Are we self aware? The second pillar is self management. It's developing healthy coping mechanisms. After you become aware of self, do you know how to regulate yourself? Are you able to regulate? So, all the things we said we want to do this year, how are you going to do it? Are you able to regulate? Are you able to discipline yourself to do the things? Are you able to bring yourself down when you have high stress? Stress is inevitable. When you're really up here, are you able to bring it down? Are you able to regulate yourself and bring yourself back down to baseline? The third pillar is social awareness. It's recognizing and empathizing with others, your loved ones, your children, your husband, your wife, your coworkers, your friends, your community. Are you able to empathize? And when we talk about empathy, you know, I always think it's very interesting because in life we say we have to do this. We must do this. This is the right thing to do. When we talk about social awareness, and then the next one is relationship management, is we have to understand our capacity. What's your capacity to do all these things? And that's why you really have to sit in that self awareness. Do you have capacity to do the things that you want to do, not that you need to do, that you want to do? Self leadership is taking back control. And the last pillar is fostering meaningful connections and support. So, how do you manage those relationships with loved ones? Manage relationships with coworkers, manage relationships with your community. If we don't have capacity, are those authentic relationships? Yeah. So, emotional intelligence is the foundation of self leadership, self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management. So, I want you to just think about that a little bit and let me know in the chat which area do you feel like you are doing well in? The thumbs up. Is it really knowing yourself, creating space for yourself? Is it regulating yourself? Is it being empathetic to individuals in your life? Or is it managing those relationships authentically? Where are you doing well. And Megan Claire, would love to hear from you too. Where are you thriving? Where are you thriving in those four pillars?
I'm gonna have to go with what Gail just said. Empathy. I sometimes feel like I may have too much empathy,
Yeah,
and I'm hurting for everyone. Um, yeah.
yeah, empathy is very important, but also important making sure you have capacity. You have capacity to actually do that. All right, very good. So now I want to really lean into the whole self-awareness because that's that foundational pillar. And the way I like to lean into that is really thinking about it in different dimensions because I always say we are dynamic humans. We're very dynamic. There are so many sides to us that sometimes we have to unpack because we haven't even visited some of our dimensions, right? We're just going, we forgot about that dimension. So I want to kind of go back when we talk about unveiling and reintroducing ourselves, it's important to do some inventory. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to make number your paper or your book or your notebook 1 to 8. Okay. 1 to 8. And I'm going to go through the dimensions of wellness, the 8 dimensions of wellness. And at the end of this, we're really going to take and tease this out because we're talking about a reintroduction, an unveiling of something new. So I want to be really sure and I want us to be really clear on what are we unveiling and who are we reintroducing? How are we showing up? Okay. So the first one is emotional wellness. And as we go through this, I want you to put either thriving or surviving. Thriving means you are doing well. This dimension of wellness is all set. Your tank is full, you have capacity there, you're doing everything you need to do there. Surviving is you need a little more work. And I want to tell you this, even if you are surviving, that's okay. The good thing is that you're aware, that you're aware, okay? That you are aware. So the first one is emotional. You were able to recognize and honor your feelings. You're able to build a support network of family and friends. You're able to practice gratitude and not let things fester or bother you. You're able to be optimistic about things. Because many times when we don't have those, and the flip side of that, you're not able to do that. You're not able to honor your feelings. You're not there yet. And that's okay. That's okay too. You're not able to lean into family members. I have a client who I saw Friday who was saying, with the holidays, that everybody wanted her to be around and she didn't want to. She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready to lean into family time and all the questions and all the empathy people would show, right? She just wasn't ready for that. And I applauded her for that because and you didn't force yourself to do it, right? Or maybe not recognizing and honor feelings. Maybe you have feelings that you just don't know what to do with right now. They're just kind of up in the air and you're kind of wrestling with them. That's okay. That's okay. Or maybe you're just not in a place where you want to show gratitude right now, right? Because you could just be finishing something or something else happened. And I know we're talking about breast cancer and life after breast cancer, but I want you to know that I'm fully aware that life impacts where you are too. It's not just about the cancer. It's not just about the cancer. It's about life. It's about the people. It's about the things. So I said that we do mental health for cancer patients and family members. And I have to tell you, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, but many of the things we're talking about or working through is not cancer. It's life. It's life because life shifts. Everything shifts from a cancer diagnosis, but life is shifting regardless if you have cancer or not, but it may shift a little differently. So our next one is physical. Are you able to physically accept self? Are you able to accept your new body image? Are you able to prioritize your movement, working out? Are you able to consume healthy food to nourish your body? Are you going to your wellness appointments? Are you treating your physical body well? Are you still getting your colonoscopies? Did you get your mammogram? Did you get your ultrasound for your breast? Right? Colonoscopies. We still need all that is part of our physical wellness. That's part of our physical wellness. The third one is occupational. Are you working? And if you're not working, I always say occupational is all your life work, right? Your life work. But are you feeling fulfilled in your work or even your volunteer activities? Do you have fulfillment there? What you're doing, does it align with your values? Do you know what your values are? Are you able to set boundaries in those arenas, in your employment or your volunteer work? Or if, I had a client here today who said, she is 65 and she said, my job is I'm a caregiver. I take care of my grandchildren, right? Even that is work, right? Are you able to protect your energy time? But still anything you do, you have, you know, set boundaries. Sometimes you have to set boundaries, right? But that's occupational. Are you surviving or are you thriving there? And then we have social wellness. This is reconnecting with individuals, relationships. Sometimes when you have cancer and you're going through treatment, you know, relationships are disrupted, right? Sometimes you have to put people aside a little bit for a little while, right? And then after, right, once you have the capacity, you pick them back up. But are you able to reconnect with those individuals? Are you able to reconnect with, maybe you were volunteering, maybe you haven't even thought about it, but are you reconnected to that community or that group where you're volunteering? Are you surrounded by people who uplift you? Are you surrounded by people that deplete you or push you down? That's negatively impacting your social wellness. And I'm fully aware that some of those people can be family members, right? I'm fully aware of that. The fifth one is spiritual wellness. And one of the intentions for New Year's was, really leaning into that. But do you feel like you have purpose in life? Do you feel like your life has meaning? Do you set time aside for prayer, meditation, to talk to, God, the Lord, Buddha, whomever you pray to, your source? Are you able to do that? And one thing I want to say about spiritual wellness and purpose and meaning is that, I'm a believer that everyone has a gift to share with the world. I'm a believer that everyone has purpose. I'm a believer that some people don't really think about their purpose, but that's what we want to unveil to the world. We want to really understand what it is, where it is, how we align with it, and how we're able to provide that gift to the world. Because everyone has something to contribute. Number 6 is our intellectual wellness. Are you stimulating your mind? Are you reading? Are you engaging in activities, crafts? Are you taking a course? Are you challenging your thinking? Now, I know when, you have a cancer diagnosis, intellectual wellness is on the all high because you are learning all new terms, all new acronyms. You're learning all the things, all the new medications and names, and it's it's very stimulating, sometimes overstimulating. But are you intentionally stimulating your intellect? Are you surviving or are you thriving? And this one here is very important. Number 7, environmental wellness. How is your space, the space where you spend time in, your home, your bedroom, your office, wherever you go? Is this a space that promotes wellness, comfort, peace? Or do you know what creates that for you? Is the environment where you thrive maybe outside, depending on where you live? Out up here in Northeast, it's really cold. But like, do you know where that space is? That environmental wellness where you don't have clutter and you can kind of focus. If you don't have that space, do you know where to get that space? Are you thriving there? And the last one is financial wellness. Financial wellness. And I know in oncology, we talk about financial toxicity, but are we back on track with that? You know, where are you financially? Do you have resources to help offset maybe medical expenses? Do you have a plan or a hold on your financial resources, or is that a source of stress for you? Is that a source of stress for you? Oh, I love that, Julie. I'm happy I'm thriving environmental wellness. Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. And you know what? My home is my sanctuary. I love that. But are you anyone else? Where do you create your own sanctuary? Where do you even if you're in a house of clutter, physical clutter or mental clutter, right? Physical clutter or mental clutter. Is there a place you can go to create your sanctuary? Is there a place you can go to create your sanctuary? So I would love to see in the chat, how many areas are you thriving in? Let's see those numbers. How many areas out of the 8 dimensions, how many areas are you thriving in? Is it 1, 2, all 8? Okay. 5. Good, good, good. 5 areas. Okay. Oh, yep. 2, thriving. Okay. Yep. Gail, 4. June, 2. Okay. This is good. This is good. Good. 3. Okay. 3, 4. Julie, 4. Jackie, 3. Jackie, 3. The 5th one is spiritual wellness. And 6 is intellectual wellness. 4. Okay. Good, good. All right, no, this is good. And now what I want you to do, and the reason I asked for where you're thriving, because I want you to really look at that and I want you to really honor yourself in that. High five yourself. Let me give you a high five in the emoji here. Let's high five ourselves. High five. Yes. High five. Oh, I don't think I have high five. I'm going to raise my hand, but high five. And really sit in that you are thriving in these areas. I love it. Thumbs up. There you go. Thumbs up. I love it. Yes. 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 Yes, high five and high five each other. Let's put thumbs up and hearts for everyone else that you are thriving in some areas of your life. This is amazing because it's not easy. It's not easy. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. And look at all the celebrations and thumbs up. I love it. I love it. And what I want you to do is I'm not going to leave you hanging with where you're surviving. Let's go into that a little bit, okay? Let's go into that a little bit. The areas where you are surviving, I want to applaud you for that too, for one, being aware and recognizing. And what I would like you to do is on your sheet, I want you to number them. So which one is highest priority? So number one is going to be your highest priority. And I want you to number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do your top three for this exercise. So what's the highest priority? So if I am surviving in social, spiritual, and intellectual, I'm going to put spiritual as number one because that's highest priority for me. So go ahead and put your top three, number them. Okay. Let's see what your top one is. If you can put it in the chat to share with everyone in the community. What's your number one? And the reason I'm asking you to share your number one is so we don't feel alone. We know we're not alone, right? Thank you, Gail. Physical, spiritual, emotional, spiritual, physical. Yeah, spiritual and physical, emotional. Seeing some themes here. Yep, physical. Okay. Spiritual. Okay. So there's some themes: physical, spiritual, emotional. Those are the it seems like those are the common ones. And the next thing I want you to do is for that number one thing, what is it that you actually need in order to help you thrive in that area? Write down one thing you need to help you thrive in that area. Consistency, fellowship. Yes. Yes. I love it. Support. Mhm. Mhm. No judgment. Mhm. Mm. Gratitude, nature, friends. Mhm. Very good. Very good. Okay. I love it. Deep connection. Yes. Yes. Consistency. I want to just thank you all for sharing. I really do. I want to thank you for sharing. All right. What we need to help move us closer to thriving. What is one thing you can do? One thing you can do to really get what you need? One thing. Is it making a phone call? Is it scheduling? Is it accountability? Is it a life coach? Is it therapy? What do you, and you don't have to put it in the chat because this is for you. This is for you. You can share it in the chat if you like, because I want to see it too, but you don't have to. You don't have to. But what is one thing you can do? You can do. And I don't want that one thing to be what someone else can do. You can do. Scheduling. Yes. Express my needs. Yes. Yes. And sometimes that can be very hard. Saron, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Expressing your needs. And I talk about this a lot when I'm doing talks or just talking to patients one on one. Something happens when, there's a diagnosis of cancer where I call it identity dissonance, where it's who I was, who I am, and who I need to be, or who you think you need to be, right? And I say this because that comment kind of got me thinking about that. You know, before cancer, I was this strong person. I didn't need anyone, very independent, doing all the things. Then you're diagnosed with cancer. And even after cancer, I have needs. I need deep connection. I need something, but I don't know how to ask for it because I'm supposed to show up this way, right? I'm supposed to show up this way. And that's why this whole unveiling and reintroducing is forget the old way. It's where are you now? Where are you now? Honoring yourself now. In that unveiling and reintroducing yourself, sometimes that is the softer part of you. And it can be very vulnerable. And I'm aware of that. But the goal is to get you to where you need to be so you can share your gifts with the world. That's what it's about. So you can step into your purpose. You can align with your purpose. You can live a full life. Full life. Every morning you open your eyes and your feet touch the ground. It's a reintroduction. It's an unveiling. It's a moment for you to shift, pivot, and really step into the life you want. Create the life you want.
Dr. Wendy,
Yes.
in saying that, I'm gonna kind of put in some questions because I see a theme in even some of the questions that have been submitted. Uh, a lot of us, and myself included, really struggled with chemo brain fog.
Mhm.
And for a lot of people, it affected our ability to work, our occupational wellness, right? And so what, how do we feel, how can we trust our memories and trust or adjust to that without having to reveal all of, yeah, I went through cancer, I went through this, and how we're being perceived by our employers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard because you don't want to reveal. You want to like the identity dissonance, right? You were this worker and you did all the things, but it's coming to terms that whole acceptance. But this is your experience, right? So it's very important that we understand that who we are and what we need. Many times people can't help if they don't know what it is. That unveiling, right? To say maybe I need accommodations now, right? I need you to work with me now. And for corporate or corporations, they also need a lot of work on how to reintegrate specifically cancer survivors back into the workplace because it's very different. It's very, very different. And we're working on that. We're working on that. But it's also survivors being reintegrated into corporations raising their hand saying, hey, I can't do it like that anymore. I need this accommodation. So if we're not unveiling ourselves, right, that's not helping the cause. And I don't want to say it's easy to unveil or let people know what you need or that you have chemo brain, right? But that's where advocacy comes in because they can't fire you because you have chemo brain, right? They have to find accommodations. They have to find accommodations. I was hesitant to tell anyone because I didn't want people yeah, to doubt your abilities. Yes, yes. And that's a real thing. That is a real thing, a real thing. But also, it's those organizations, and it's no one answer. It's not because what I say, your organization will be like, well, then you can't work here, right? But then we have another that we're not done with them yet, right? Then we get our advocates, we get into our communities, and we find people who can help advocate for us, help us advocate for what's right. Yes. So thank you for that question. But even for even for family and friends, Megan Claire, it's some people like to isolate, because of that. They forget or they're not able to, process the conversation. Yeah, they're not able to do these things. And it's really kind of an acceptance of this is what it is. What can I do about that? And are you doing those things? Because you only do so much, you know?
Well, another idea and even kind of question. I know for myself, and I'm wondering how many others in the chat, where we've been through this, but our friends pre-cancer, we can no longer relate to them because we've stared our mortality in the face. And like you said, kind of like that isolation of, I don't have the capacity to deal with maybe their excitement that you're done. But as many of us know, we now have a lot of, a lot of healing to do. And there's frustration that comes with that. And sometimes we just want to talk about how scared we were. And I
Yeah.
know for myself, I've had a hard time relating to my friends who are outside of cancer land. And I struggle with those friendships. Oh, Julie, yes. Oh my God, yes. So I'm wondering, because someone asked, we feel overwhelmed at times, and that can sometimes mean isolating ourselves, or how do we talk to others, whether they're in cancer land or outside cancer land?
Yeah, and I would say partnering with someone to help you through that because that is a real life phenomenon. And sometimes you have to, and I think this whole this whole topic of unveiling and reintroducing yourself, it comes from you first. Forget the friends and families, but you really coming into terms with yourself, you being okay with who you are now, not who you were before. And what comes with that is maybe you're in different circles. Maybe you are with your friends in cancer land, right? Because they understand you, they feed you, they fuel you. Where your friends before cancer or family members don't really fuel you. You know what I mean? So it's really picking where am I now? 'Cause you may not have capacity today for that group, but maybe a year from now, a month from now, you will have capacity. So it's really understanding and this is really about you. What do you need right now? And I think sometimes we get caught up in wanting to please everyone else. You know, you've been my friend for years. So I feel like I have to show up at your birthday party or I have to do all the things. You don't have to do anything, right? Because you are healing you. So that's what I would say to that is you have to, you know, in your mind, take a minute, get all the noise out of what people expect of you, all the expectations people have you, and think about what do I want? What do I want? What do I need right now? Because your capacity builds. When you have that, oh, I feel obligated, I feel guilty, all that takes up your capacity that you can't do the work of yourself, do the work on yourself.
Yeah.
So
Want to read in the chat. If you want to read that, Dr. Wendy, from both Julie and Sarone.
like when I share how crappy I feel from chemo, please don't respond with how you're tired. Yes. Yes. So true. And you know what I say that people sometimes people don't know what to say. They don't know what to say.
Like
And
Keisha
and
just said.
people don't know how to respond. Yes. It's so true. It's so true. Let me see. I feel as if I become a different person since my diagnosis. I've grown in some ways due to the trauma of it all. Relationships have changed. Yes. Yes. And that is okay. And that is okay. It's the sympathy aspect from friends. Yeah. Yeah. And then so with that, it's how do you feel about telling them how their comments are making you feel? Are you comfortable with, saying, as a breast cancer survivor, I don't you can't compare your work to my cancer or chemo or you know what I mean? It's two different experiences. Not saying it whatever is, one superior, but I am just using this space to let you know how I'm feeling, not to, the whole comparison drives people crazy. But sometimes you have to let them know because I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I just didn't know what to say, So
Well, it's like
so
that
it
capacity that you were
that
talking about. Sometimes I think like sometimes when we have the capacity, maybe we will say something in the moment, but sometimes we don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
And a theme I'm also seeing in some of the questions is how, like, how do we find our purpose? How do we find the different ways to process what we've been through? Because for many of us, our bodies are not the same. Our minds are not the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to spend some time with yourself. And I'm also, I said I'm a mental health advocate, is partnering with someone. You partner, and not therapy necessarily, not counseling, but someone who can just help you kind of work through that, work through where are you now? What fuels you now? Right? Because maybe that job you had before chemo's not fueling you, right? Maybe we have to kind of move on. And what I say to, finding your purpose, which I love, and it's part of what I definitely want to get out there, but it's really thinking about, what is that thing that lights you up? What is that thing that lights you up? What is that thing that the world needs? Right? What is it? What was it? But what is it now? Because it can be very different now. Like we have, breast cancer patients who been through, chemo, radiation, and surgery, and they were executives of big companies, and now post treatment they are running advocacy organizations. They're doing advocacy work because that fuels them, that wakes them up in the morning, that drives them. But what is that thing? Because sometimes after our experience we try to fit back into the box. In the box, we're too big for the box now because we have a different perspective. We're too big for the box. You can't go back in the box. We got to develop a new box, right? We can't fit into the space anymore, right? So same thing with friends and family. Do you fit? Do you fit there still? You know what I mean? So we got to be okay with that. That we have to maybe create another box. But purpose is really, what is that thing that drives you? What is that thing that drives you? And usually when I think of purpose, I think about how we contribute to the world is what feed us. When you make someone else feel good, when you're sharing your story or knowledge or something with someone else. Right now, for me, I am in purpose right now with you. And I'm thankful that I'm able to be here with you. I love this. I love this. I love this community. I love that you're all here. You're all participating. I'm rolling in purpose right now. I love it. And I know we have a couple of minutes left, but I want to get to this. This is very important. And I want all of you to take some time to do this. But what is your vision for your life now? As you went through everything, thinking about self-leadership, thinking about, your dimensions of wellness, where you're thriving, where you're surviving. What is your vision for, and don't just start writing, just take a minute to breathe. And then what is my vision for my life? What is that vision for your life? And that vision could be big, it could be scary, but what is that big vision? What is the vision? And sometimes we lose focus of our ability to have a vision. But what is your vision for your life? Take some time to really lean into that and think about that and write it down. I want you to capture it. What is your vision for your life? And I don't want you to think, I want that vision, but no, just write the big vision, huge vision. What is your vision? Because our vision is going to be our anchor to everything we do, that vision for our lives. How we show up, how we, actually implement the things we need to thrive in those areas. Because the sooner or the faster we're able to thrive in certain areas, we can lean into the vision because we have capacity, right? And that vision, we want to share that vision. We want to inspire people to really see our vision. What is your vision? Can you share that vision? Once you share the vision, are you open to people helping you innovate the vision? Innovate to make the vision bigger, improve it, impact more people. Huge vision. Are you able to influence people with your vision? Are you able to move people from here to there to actually execute the vision, move the vision along, right? Make the vision come out of your head into reality. And more importantly, what lives are you going to impact with that vision? What lives are you going to impact with that vision?
Is vision the same as dreams? Like, what is your dream?
Hey, yes, yes, it can be your dreams. It could be your goal. Because now you say vision, but what's your goal for your life? What's your vision for your life? What's your dream for your life? Sometimes we stop dreaming. But when we talk about unveiling and reintroducing ourselves, this is it. It's your life vision. That's who I am. Hi, I'm Dr. Wendy Garvin Mayo. I am an oncology mental health advocate. And I have a big vision that everyone going through cancer treatment has a mental health advocate to see them through one of the toughest times in their lives. That's my vision for the world. That gave me chills. My world. And I try to share it every time. And you have a vision too. You have a vision too. Yes. So I hope this was helpful. I love you all. I truly mean that. I love you all for showing up for yourselves and sharing with us. And thank you so much for having me. And I am going to actually put up the takeaways, making clear or no? Yes? Okay.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay.
So that way, uh, you just talked about so many fantastic things. So if you could just walk us through those takeaways, that'd be great.
Yeah. So our takeaways here is self-awareness is the foundation to emotional intelligence and it drives self-leadership. Self-leadership is really understanding what you want in life and leading yourself to that thing. Vision is guided by emotional intelligence. It's really because you have to be aware of where you are, where you've been, but more importantly, where you want to go. So that's going to be your anchor. That vision is really it's going to anchor your self leadership. But that vision is what we're here for. That reintroduction of unveiling, we're unveiling your vision to the world. And the four eyes underpin your vision to enable you to impact impactful action. So that is inspire, share your vision with the world, let people help you innovate that vision, make it bigger, expand it, influence people to move towards your vision. So you're actually operationalizing the vision. It's out of your head and it's actually happening. And then the four I is impact lives with your vision. So it's going to enable impactful action so you can share your gifts with the world. And I want to say this. It doesn't matter how many areas you are surviving in, you can still have a vision and you can still impact the world while you work on yourself. So, with that, I'll leave you with that. And thank you so much for your engagement. Thank you so much for having me. And if you ever need anything, you can scan the code there and connect with me. And that's it. But have a wonderful afternoon. And thank you.
Well, Dr. Wendy, again, thank you so, so much for this really thoughtful conversation. Look in the chat there, you're getting a lot of love there. And I also want to thank everyone for joining and participating. And just remember that we'll have a recording of this on the website in about 1 to 2 weeks. But also please make sure to check Share's website at sharecancersupport.org for upcoming events. As you can see, we have some writing workshops, our Let's Talk About It for Breast Cancer, our BC Life podcast. Our next educational programming is on the 17th, our Let's Talk About It for Black women with breast cancer, and another educational program with our SABCS highlight. So make sure to check all of that out. And as you sign off, please take a moment, fill out that survey. I read every single one of those surveys and your feedback, and that's what helps drive this fantastic type of programming. So follow us. We'll make sure that we have Dr. Wendy's information for you when we send out the recording. And again, thanks everyone. You have been amazing. And more importantly, don't feel the pressure to have to do something so big after your cancer. It can often feel that way. And I love, Dr. Wendy, how you said you have to unveil yourself to you. Who are you now? And start there. And I think we often forget that. So I appreciate that kind of reminder. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a great rest of your week.